everybody, back out at Lake Wilson working on week 4 of the Wilderness Trade Blanket Challenge. This week we're to set a spring snare. So I've come out here and I've already collected most of the things that I'm gonna use for the snare, and I have an area already picked out. Kind of scouted around this afternoon a little bit to find what I was looking for, and I've decided to obviously step away from that area to make the components of the snare, and then we'll go back and set it. Some of the things I have, or I'm going to need, are some cordage. Now, there's stuff like jute twine and paracord that I could use, but I decided today I was going to go ahead and make the cordage. So here's an example of some of the other cordage that I've made in the past, just some short hanks of it. I just wanted to show for this video. This is yucca, and this is dogbane cordage. I've collected some stalks already that I'm going to process down here in a little bit and make into fiber, and then twist that up into cordage. I'm thinking I'm probably only going to need about 5 or 6 feet of cordage, maybe tops. And then behind me I've got some down branches and stuff that I'm going to use to make the set itself. So let me stop this for a second and get everything going and bring you along. Okay, I got the trap itself done. I still haven't done the cordage, but just wanted to show this piece itself. Basically, it's just 2 stakes and a trigger stick. What I've seen before in the past is that you set your stakes up similar to this, and the trigger stick would have to be longer, but it ran on the front of the stick, and you notched everything out on the front. The problem I had with that was it's unidirectional. You have to know exactly which way the animal's going to be traveling so that it releases the right way. With this particular set, I've carved the notches in the sides, and when this sets, this trigger stick will sit underneath here, so that it doesn't matter whether it rolls forward or whether it rolls backward, it'll trigger the same. So that part of it's done. Now I'm going to work on the cordage. Now I'm working on the cordage, so I've got a couple pieces in different stages here. I didn't want to do a long video on cordage or anything. I wanted to do the video on the snare. But to run through, once you cut it down and you trim all the leaves back, you're left with these on here unless you cut them off while you're in the field. So after that, then you go back and you trim all those down, so that those are no longer on there. Then you split it down the middle, and after you've split it, you can go back, and this outer green will peel right off, just like that. And then you just separate that from the stalk. Strands here. Now you can do this a lot more methodically so that it comes out looking nicer, but for today's purpose I'm just trying to get it down to cordage. It's going to be a very rough cordage, but then you end up with these long pieces of fiber, and these fibers are what we will now spin into cordage. So take it into a manageable piece like this, and I will typically offset so that my splices are not coming in at the same spot, and then you're just going to twist. So you start twisting, until it decides to bite down on itself like that. Just like that. And after it bites, you can grab your knot, and this is where it's just twist away. You're rolling this away from you and bringing the back piece forward, and then it doesn't take very long. There are some people who can spin it on their thighs like I was just trying to do. I have yet to get very good at that. I spend more time wasting trying to figure out if I'm getting it done right. It's just easier for me to spin it like this. So after you've gone a little bit, you start to see that you've got a little bit of cordage. When you start to come to the end of a piece, that's where you're going to want to lay in a splice. Splice, all I'm going to do is take my short end, I'm going to lay a piece on it, and then I'm going to continue the same process that I was doing, and now I have a long piece again. So I'll just keep right on splicing, or twisting. And you can process these fibers down much farther to very fine hair-like fibers, and that's when you end up with cordage that looks like this. The cordage that I'm going to make today is going to look more like this. For the actual snare part that's going to go around the neck, I will likely just use a piece of this that I've made in the past just for the sake of time today. But you can process these all the way down to these very fine fibers. I don't even know if you can see that, but that's how you end up with the much finer cordage. So there's where my splice is, and I'll go back and trim that off in a little bit when I get done. But I'm going to turn the camera off and finish spinning this up. I'll show you what I got when I'm done. For the sake of not doing a half-ass job on it, I decided I would go ahead and make some new small fine cordage as well. So I've broken these fibers down even finer so that I can go ahead and make that finer cordage. I wanted to show you as that was progressing as well. This is the finer cordage that's going to be used for the actual noose itself. But I just decided I didn't want to use the old stuff. I'd go ahead and make some new. We'll keep going. Alright, I think I got everything done. Getting ready to run over there and set this and see if I can get it to work. This is what I have so far. This is the trigger stick. This is the stick that's going to be attached to the tree. This is about 5 feet of natural cordage, and it's pretty strong stuff. It ain't going to break. And then this is going to be the noose that goes on the bottom of the trigger stick, and I'll adjust that. I'll tie that on and adjust that based on what the needs are when I get there. But that will then tie on the bottom here. And there's just an overhand knot on a bite to create the noose that'll slide up and down. So as the end goes in there, it'll tighten down. So let's take it over there and get it set up, see what it looks like. Now I apologize about the wind. I was scouting back here earlier when I was trying to decide where I was going to set my trap up, and stumbled across this pack rat nest. So this is where I'm going to set up at. Come right back here. You can see this is his nest. And it looks pretty active. If you look right down here, I think that's where he's getting in and out. And I don't know if you're going to be able to follow it very well. But right through here, this is his path coming and going. So what I'll probably do is I'll end up setting the trap up right here in front of that nest. So let me get it set up, and then I'll turn the camera back on. Okay. So I've come in on the back side this time, hopefully to get a better view. But there's his nest. There's how he's getting in and out. And then this little game trail comes right along into my trap. Keeps right on going. This is the way he comes out and in. So then this is the spring part of the snare tied into the tree. Then we're going to go down and get a better look at the trap itself. You can kind of see the game trail a little better down here. But there it is. The noose is set low. There's a little stick and a little rock to help funnel him in there. And there's the trigger stick. So now, I'm going to back up just a touch. I'm going to try to set it off. And this will work coming or going, but I got a hook on the end of this stick, so we're going to act like he's coming out. Head hits the noose, tightens down, and as it tightens down, he'll pull, and there he hangs.